The gentleman yields back. Mr. Clyde, you are now recognized, and I will note that there are votes on the floor at this time.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I strongly oppose Delegate Norton's D.C. Home Rule Expansion Act. Our great nation's founding fathers intentionally included language in our Constitution, and in case any of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle have forgotten, this is the ruling document of our republic. They included language in the Constitution to enable Congress, this body, to govern the District of Columbia. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17 of the Constitution states, and I quote, "The Congress shall have power to exercise exclusive legislation in all cases whatsoever over such district not exceeding 10 miles square as may by cession of particular states and the acceptance of Congress become the seat of the United States government." Since its enactment in 1973, the D.C. Home Rule Act has been used to justify radical leftists' initiatives, squander billions of dollars of taxpayer money, and to blatantly contradict the United States Constitution. For example, D.C.'s failed leadership has severely limited individuals' unalienable constitutional right to keep and bear arms. Hence, the city has seen increased crime, specifically violent crime. Mr. Heller, in the Heller decision of 2008, he had to go to court to have D.C.'s unconstitutional laws overturned, and Mr. Heller has had to go back multiple times to D.C. to fix the issues. Additionally, D.C. Mayor Bowser is forcing school children ages 12 and up to receive a barely tested COVID-19 vaccine in order to attend school. You know, we really don't know the full extent of the risks to these children. Vaccines are normally tested for a minimum of 5 to 10 years. And we don't have near that kind of data, and the D.C. government is forcing it on our children. That is unconscionable. Preventing students from receiving an education unless they receive the jab not only blatantly ignores parental rights, but it also surely won't improve D.C. students' high school graduation rate, which is currently much lower than the national average. Simply put, well, let me give you another example. Look no further than Mayor Bowser's use of draconian mandates to shut down a veteran-owned restaurant, Big Board, over unscientific and illogical rules, cementing that her obvious thirst for power and control over the daily lives of D.C. residents knows absolutely no bounds. Simply put, D.C. Home Rule is nothing more than a failed experiment that has subjected the American people's capital to nearly 50 years of terror and failed leadership. Yet the left's solution to the mounting issues plaguing our capital city, such as skyrocketing crime, out-of-control homelessness, widespread open hard drug use, unreliable transportation, and medical tyranny, is to radically expand D.C. Home Rule and abolish any congressional role in supervising the affairs of the federal district. This is exactly opposite to what we should be doing right now. We should actually be limiting and repealing D.C. Home Rule in order to govern as our founders had intended. Furthermore, this bill not only transfers prosecution power for D.C. code crimes to a new locally controlled prosecution office from the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Columbia, but it would also permit D.C. officials to exercise clemency powers for anyone convicted under D.C. law of even violent crimes. Soft-on-crime policies like these have failed in liberal cities. They have failed in New York City, they have failed in Los Angeles, they have failed in San Francisco, and if enacted, they will fail in the District of Columbia, and crime will get even worse. The D.C. government is barely able to maintain order in the city as it is. Can you imagine how much worse things could be if they were given total control over the affairs of the federal district? The city of Washington, D.C., as the United States capital, belongs to all Americans, not just the people who live here. That's why the Constitution is very clear on the issue.
Would the gentleman yield for a question?
And I yield my time back.
Yields back. Representative Cloud, you are now recognized.